Hello, Phantoms, and welcome to Midnight Monster-Rama, where every night is Halloween. I'm your host, Byron.
And I'm Nick.
And tonight, Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. I suppose this is just Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, because this was made in the 90s and they stopped doing the numbers to try to trick people or something. I don't know. Nick.
No.
What are you expecting from Halloween 6?
I don't wanna. We left on a good note, okay? That's all I gotta say. Part 5, I was just like, hey, cool, all right, this is a great send-off. I forgot that there was more. Way more.
Way more.
What year was this made?
Came out in 95, 6 years after the last one. It's directed by Joe Chappelle. This is the introducing Paul Rudd.
Okay, I might like it then.
Yeah.
I like Paul Rudd.
Yeah. But probably the person that needs to be shouted out the most is old Daniel Farrens. He's a screenwriter on this, and I think he's probably a lot like me, maybe. This guy loves all the Halloweens. He really wanted to write a Halloween sequel, and he did everything he could to get to the producers. And I guess early on he got them this Halloween Bible of all the lore that he carefully figured out, the timeline on everything.
How it all ties together.
Yeah, and they
Okay.
at first they were kind of like, oh, what's this? But they ended up using that in production meetings. They're like, oh, where's that book? Who wrote that book again that we got here that knows more about the series than we do?
Fan fiction saves the day.
Yeah. So they ended up hiring him to write the script, and I give him props for having the ambition and the want to make a Halloween film that ties everything that ever happened together.
Okay, well, now that you described it that way, I'm coming in with a little more faith. So, if a good fanboy can make a movie in the 1990s, what can go wrong? By the way, this is Horace.
Oh, and for all of you that know these movies and have seen them a million times, know the history. We're gonna watch the theatrical cut. The legendary producer's cut was only readily available when this box set came out. Before then, if you're like me, you only saw it as a cheap bootleg copy. So for many years, for most people, they only saw the theatrical cut. So we're gonna watch this as if the theatrical cut is the only thing that exists. So I think that's fair. And maybe later on we can watch the producer's cut.
I'd like to do that.
So what do you think, Nick? Are you ready for Halloween 6 then?
Sure, what the heck.
All right. We're gonna go watch Halloween 6. We'll be back.
The Curse of Michael Myers.
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest
Nick! Nick!
I don't wanna.
Come on, buddy. We gotta do this. Face your fears.
Fear schmears. Ugh.
The Curse of Michael Myers.
The curse of my liver.
So, Nick, what did you not like?
For Donald Pleasance's final film, that's just sad. Loomis is basically like the Sherlock to the Moriarty, or he's the Zenigata to Lupin. I know I mixed that around, but that's what made it fun. It was the chase, it was the mystique, it was the joy, and it sucked all the joy out and tried to make it as edgelord as possible.
Whew.
With not that much charm and no characters. Because the character that we liked in the last couple of movies is a lot older and dead. I'll just say it. It's good to see a young Paul Rudd. I'm sorry, Paul. They made you look like I can't believe it's not Ben Affleck. And I know you were trying to go for this character named Tommy, but you were like an android the entire time.
See, I would actually disagree there. I kind of liked Paul Rudd's performance, only that so many characters in that movie are so stock and Oh, here's the abusive dad, the most obvious abusive dad ever. The most like Betty Crocker mom ever, like down to like the wardrobe and everything. I thought he gave kind of a nuanced performance. He has the weird nervous tics a lot and like does a lot of weird stuff in there.
But I kind of wanted Tane. I wanted the celery man. You know what I'm saying? You know, Tim and Eric fans out there. And by the way, again, I am a big fan of Paul Rudd, so there we go.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd. I'm sorry, I blacked out for a minute. Did I miss anything?
The movie obviously had way too many cooks in the kitchen. You had Daniel Ferrens who wanted to like tie up the entire franchise. And even he says that in either cut of the film, it's not how he wanted to tie it up.
Right.
It's got some of his ideas, but not nearly all of his ideas. And it's got a million other ideas thrown in. And even you can tell by like the characterizations and the like how some characters are real stock and then some are a little more like loose and real, like Kara, like her and Paul Rudd try to play it a little more real, I guess you could say. And then other characters play it just real big and like just obvious. And
they kind of take it back to part 3 with the overacting.
Yeah, but that's a disservice to part 3.
You know what? He's absolutely right.
Tom Atkins gives a comparably like nuanced and real performance.
He does.
The way he plays the part and the way that part is written, that's a real guy. Yeah. Mixed motivations, like he's human. The dude in this movie, the dad in this movie is beyond a stereotype of like a bad dad. Like just...
Yeah, my issue with the dad was that he was just so cut and dry that like you kind of expect him to be the same kind of dad that would be in a Twisted Sister video. Like seriously, I just wanted to see like Dee Snider pop out of the ether with like Michael Myers throwing the horns and screaming, "I want to rock." You know, actually, you know what? It should have happened. I mean, Strangeland wasn't that bad. I mean,
wow, this movie made you say Strangeland wasn't that bad. Hold on a second. There's a lot of problems with this movie. It's all over the place. Nothing makes sense. There is a part in there.
Is this like the big one that bugs you the most?
I mean, I love it kind of because it's hilarious, because it's so weird and ridiculous. Everything's revealed. You know, all these people are in on it. Even old babysitter, Miss Blankenship. They mention her in Halloween 3. Like the cult people show up. Man in Black is the villain from Lethal Weapon. Kara jumps out a window and then it cuts. And all of a sudden, Dr. Loomis and Tommy Doyle are standing looking at the ground and going, "Wait, where is everybody? I feel like I've been drugged."
We were drugged.
We were drugged.
6 times.
And then he's like, "It's his game. I know where he's going to want to play it out." And then they drive to Smith's Grove Sanitarium. Loomis gets there. He goes into where the doctor is. Doctor's like, "Took you long enough," kind of thing. They talk for like 30 seconds, and then they knock Loomis unconscious. What? So he can wake up again and they can talk more?
I've been drugged
These
again.
people are like out of their minds. Or they just, I don't know, man. Crazy stuff must have been happening when they were trying to make this movie.
And it was very underwhelming when the big reveal of the guy in black was, I don't even remember his name.
Dr. Wen.
Dr. Wen. Okay, when we were watching the darn film, like, I was like, wait, is that the main bad guy from the 3rd movie? With the masks and silver shamrock and stuff? I'm like, that would have been believable for some strange reason.
That would have been kind of awesome.
Actually, yeah, that probably could have saved the film. I don't care. Screw it.
Let's talk about some good.
God damn it if we have to.
One thing I like and one thing I kind of respect about this franchise in general is they never make Michael Myers into a joke and they never compromise his character. Like even in this film, with all this nonsense going on all around, he's still the shape. Like he's still going around, and there are some cool, I mean, they're a little more like Friday the 13th style because they're more gory and over the top, but the kill scenes are fun in this one. They're crazy, crazy special effects. Michael Myers actually kills 2 plot points in this movie. In the barn with Jamie, they have a callback to the thing that most people don't like about part 5, where they try to humanize him, where she reaches up and says uncle or whatever.
Right.
And then he acts like he's going to reach back and it's going to be another one of those moments. And then he just jams her more onto the thing and just kills her like crazy. Towards the end, after we've had to listen to endless cult nonsense, that he picks up that weird medical grade machete and he goes in and murders like all the cult people. I feel like the Shape acknowledges that he's trapped with a bunch of nonsense people trying to understand him, and he just wants to kill people and get the hell out of here.
You know, that's an interesting film theory right there. Do you think that, like, part 6 was Michael Myers' nightmare? What if this is his curse? He's like, I have to do another film. I just want to get the heck out. And they're like, oh, no, you had a kid with your young underage niece. He's like, nope, I don't want part of that. Die, die, die. Wow, these characters are terrible. Die, die, die. Okay. Let's get out of here. Cultist, are you kidding me? Die, die, die. They did not clown up Michael at all.
Yeah.
In none of the movies, they've done that.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a catchphrase. He doesn't have a goofy dance. He doesn't have anything signature except his theme music, his walk, and his countenance, and his kills. So, for the sake of that, watching certain scenes is worth it, but otherwise the movie as a whole, no, not at all. Except for Paul Rudd.
I do kind of like the finale.
Yeah, I like the finale too.
It's weird. I mean, it's like you said, they're suddenly in like a weird science lab that looks like it's from Batman and Robin. There's green like reagent from Reanimator there or something, and they just start pumping Michael full of it with a bunch of syringes and then beating him to death with a lead pipe. Bless him, Paul Rudd has to just go out of control in the scene and just gets that weird look on his face, and he has that awesome moment where he's like thinks he's done, and then he just goes crazy and beats Michael like about 500 more times to like a pulp.
That was actually the most believable character in the movie, was that scene. Like, Tommy had his Tommy Jarvis moment. I do like that, and I do like the concept that Tommy is from the very first movie, because if you backtrack to the very first episode, I said a lot of credit goes to those kids because I would have been scared beyond any and all comprehension. Those kids had guts. You know, maybe the movie would have been a lot better if it was all just based around Paul Rudd.
I also got to say, you know, Loomis, I liked seeing him play the part one more time.
And that was the whole sigh of relief when we first started watching that film, because I was just like, oh boy, here we go. And then when you see Loomis, it's like, some familiarity.
It's sad that he passed away right after they made this movie, but, you know, sometimes just fate gives an actor like a great last line and creepily fitting, and this one was when they're like, come with us, and he's like, I have things here I need to attend to. Now, it kind of bothers me if they put in that fake scream that implies that he got killed right after.
I hated that fake scream so much. See, we're trying to talk about the good in this film. When they really reach up and hit that high point, they got to smack it right back down with garbage.
They didn't have that stupid scream in there. They could they could say anything at the beginning of the next one to explain why he's not in it.
Yeah.
Or they could decide to retcon the whole series again and start over, because that's what they're gonna do, buddy. H2O's coming up.
Ooh, such a young and hip looking crowd. And is that Jamie Lee Curtis? Yeah, I already knew that. I just having fun here. Ooh, and introducing Josh Hartnett.
I'm gonna give Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, 5 out of 10.
You are being too kind, sir.
Hear me out.
I'm waiting for it.
Part of it is the nostalgia. I've watched this movie a billion times. I enjoy what I enjoy about it still. Like, if I go into this expecting it to be more like Jason Takes Manhattan level of movie, you know, then I can enjoy it, because I enjoy Jason Takes Manhattan.
Right, I think that was actually the first Jason film I saw.
It's super fun. It's super fun and ridiculous.
And that's the important part. Timeline is everything. You waited years to see this movie in theaters. You showed up, you got to see it, I totally get it. I did that for episode 1 of Star Wars. And was I gonna be ultra critical about it? No, I waited most of my childhood to see this film and I went, it happened, it was great. And then you watch it again, you go, well, this should have happened and that should have happened. But it's the fact that you saw it and you waited so long for that and you're just like, I don't care if it's garbage, just gimme. It has a place in your heart to where you can actually say, hey, I don't mind watching this again and again because it brings me back to a time when I was just finishing high school and, you know, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and everything. Unfortunately for me, I don't have that kind of heart. This movie gets a horrifying 1.
Wow, 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
Woo!
Now, for the sake of, you know me and you know how much I love marathoning movies. I mean, this is why we started the whole thing. Yes, I will sit through it again because we're buddies.
All right, Phantoms. That ends another episode of Midnight Monster-Rama. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share the love.
And make sure you hit that bell on the side so you can get the notifications on the next episode when it comes out. And of course, we want to know your opinion. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you have the same kind of reaction that Byron did when he was younger and he saw it in the theaters? Is there that sparkly-eyed wonder of nostalgia for you? Or are you just gonna be old and bitter like me and just be like, ugh? So please let us know. Thank you very much. And once again, I'm Nick.
I'm Byron.
And that's Horace. Good night, everybody.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. There is no...
You don't see it?
That's a wall.
You can't.
That's a wall.
Ugh.
Wall, buddy.
That sounded like Horace. I hope he's okay.